Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for the Finance News Network. Joining me today from Calima Energy is Managing Director Dr. Alan Stein. Alan, welcome to FNN.
Thanks, Rachel.
Now, first up, could you start by giving us an introduction to Calima Energy?
Calima is an oil and gas exploration company focused on the Montney Basin in Canada, which is Canada's biggest oil and gas play, and sort of ranks up there beside some of the better known plays in the US, such as the Marcellus and the Eagle Ford.
Thanks, Alan. Now let's talk about your key project. Could you start off by telling us the size of the resource?
Yeah, we have 72,000 acres of drilling rights, and we have an independent resource report giving us 475 million barrels of oil equivalent resource, which is made up of 2.1 TCF of gas and 115 million barrels of liquids. And it's the liquids that are relevant here because condensate in the Montney sells it as a premium to WTI. It's used as a diluent in the heavy oil play in Canada.
And can you tell me about the drill program there?
Yeah, when we come up towards Christmas and New Year, we'll be drilling 3 wells. It'll be the first wells drilled into the Montney in our acreage. It'll be a vertical and 2 horizontals, although we do have a company next door that has drilled more than 60 successful wells, so the area has been well tested.
And what can you tell me about the project economics?
Well, for us, the strategy at Calima is to drill those wells, demonstrate the productivity of the land, and then seek a transaction that adds value for shareholders. So the key metric for us is the value of the land. And if we look at transactions involving quite a lot of transactions in the Montney, last year the average price per acre for undeveloped Montney land was around $2,500. This year the price has jumped to around $4,500 per acre, and of course we have 72,000 acres.
So Alan, where will the first revenues come from?
Well, after this first drilling campaign, the plan is to go back after having run production tests. We will put in a relatively short pipeline, some 20 kilometers in length, which will link us into infrastructure, and that will see us generating revenue by 2020, early 2020.
And now to your financials and to the share price. What is your cash position and how far will that get you?
Well, we've just completed a placing to raise $25 million, which I'm pleased to say was, heavily oversubscribed. We had to close the book early on that one. So now we have around $28 million in cash, which is sufficient to fund that drilling campaign I was talking about and take us well through into next year.
And can you provide a comment on your stock?
The share price is hovering around the mid-5s, which is where we did the placing. So I think that's a pretty fair result. And as we move towards the drilling campaign, I think you're going to see a fairly significant re-rate of the stock as we go through all that news flow that's going to come out over Christmas and New Year.
And last question now, Alan. Why should investors consider adding Calima Energy to their portfolios?
Well, look, it's a very simple proposition here. You can think of it a bit like a real estate play, but in the oil and gas space. We have a next door neighbor who has proved up the play with drilling quite close to us. If you look at the valuation of our land position at the moment based on our market cap taking away the cash, it's between $700 to $800 per acre. And you remember when I said that the average transactions were around $4,500 an acre. So I think you can do the math there and see quite a substantial uplift for our shareholders. And remember, we are looking to transact in a way that delivers that value to shareholders early. We're not here to develop the whole project.
Dr. Alan Stein, thanks for the update and good luck with the progress.
Thank you, Rachel.